Let me pick up where we left off. This is class exercise number 8, task B, part 5. Okay, so we are starting to write our function, and I wrote my function. Remember now, this is a function. This is a for loop that's nested inside of a function with it. And the way how the function works is I just want to go back on some of these classes that you have. Here is a tab link, links with it, and here's the variable. Here's the tab content. This tab content is this tab content. This I is this I. Okay, all right. So the CSS, the HTML, and the JavaScript, they all work together in this as well. So coming down here, I want to come over, and after that becomes false with this for loop with it. After it ends with it, I'm going to have to what? I need to go in and actually update my tab link with it. All right. So here's my tab content. This is my next step. Is my tab links. All right. And I should write this from the right side equal to the left side, but it doesn't matter with it. So we're still going to use the document variable with the dot syntax. We're going to get element by class name, which is this, with it. Inside of this, I'm going to pass in the tab links, all right, with tab links. All right, so this tab links that you are looking at is the one that's in the top screen that you are looking at. So this tab link, this variable right here, this variable is this variable. You see that when I click on it, it highlights it. Now this right side of this statement right here, this is the right side, equals the left side. So it updates your tab link with it. So this is contained between where? My functions with it. Anytime when I call the OpenCity method, it's going to pass across as what? Tab links. Guess what? Here it is. That's the class. That's tab links in here as well. So see how all this kind of works together with it? Now, I just updated my tab links with the tab links that I have right here. Now I need to write a loop to update my tab links in this thing with it as well. Well, to update it, I need to actually do what? I need to write a for loop. This particular for loop comes in. I want to use the I. This variable I is this variable I. So I equal to 0, right? Because I have already declared var as I is the variable in here already with it, right? So I'm going to actually use I, and there's one more piece that I left out from here. I forgot to tell you in here. I told you this is a test statement, didn't I? Yeah. So one of the things that this particular statement that we have to compare is with what? This needs to be with I less than the tab content. Okay, so come over here. This is where I left out this I. Make sure you look at this very carefully. I left out this. Look at this for a second before I move forward on this, because I jumped ahead and talked to you about the length for this thing. All right. So this has to evaluate to a Boolean expression, right? So when I is 0 right here, you plug 0 in here. 0 is less than whatever the tab content, that length. So this is the method that's going to return whatever this length of this message right here. You see this? This is going to have some sort of value in here. So Paris, it has some sort of length in here, right? Meaning it starts with 1 all the way. I'm not going to count the whole thing. But whatever the integer that you have, this is going to be a true statement. Once this becomes true, you will go in, you're going to display nothing right now with it. You're going to update the array, call I. And then you're going to update your I going from 0, add 1 to it, becomes 1. You see how that works? And it just loops. It just loops. It just reads through it. That's what this does with it. This time, you're going to update the tab I. In this case, you're going to look for is, again, you're going to compare I less than the tab links with it. And this tab links, again, it is the same tab links with the length. That's what you're going to look for with it. And here you're going to update your I. Come to the right, and you're going to open up your second set of curly bracket. This is also nested in here. When this is true, what are you going to do? Let me write this from the right side and equal to the left side so you can see this easier. Links, and in this links, I dot class name, this one, I'm just going to click on it with it. Another property is replace, and I want to call this method replace it with the quotation space active, comma, come to the right of that, comma, and this next parameter is just an empty space between it like that. Okay, come to the right of that, hit enter for me. All right, so what this does is basically it actually reads it. All right, when you call OpenCity, I want you to give me the tab link to this, and it output this to every character position that's coming across. Now, you do all of this. The last step you need to do is when you click on, and this happens in milliseconds with it, right? We need to use the object called documents. Remember this documents here? Oh, hang on. Okay, I didn't finish this in a second here. Let me finish explaining this. This is very important. All these are arrays data types with it, and I'm sorry that you guys didn't get a chance to, but in JavaScript I talk about arrays with it. There's what's called elements and positions of the array elements with it as well. So every one of these things is we're looking at as array data type with this as well. So the array data types that you are looking at right now is the tab link dot class name, right? And this class name needs to be stored, what you store into the tab links in here, and you're going to use that array from the above on top of this and the class name, alright, and that class name you use the replace. Okay, so before we get too far with this, alright, so look at this right side right here. This entire tab links, that this is what you're looking at. So the tab links in here, you're using this as an array. You're going to use the class name, and then you're going to actually replace it with the active parameter. The second parameter is just an empty parameter. You can leave a space in there, you can take that out. I'm just going to take that out with it, so it looks kind of weird with a space quotation in there with it. And basically it's empty. All of this is going to be stored into the tab link element with I, which is the first position. Store that into the property name class name. Alright, that's the class name that you're going to be using with it. Again, all these are contained inside of a scope, the left and right curly brackets with it. Once you've done that, you're going to actually go in, you're going to use the get element by ID, this one. You're going to pass in the city name, and you're going to use the dot style dot display what? The block. Okay. Once you do that, you're going to run down here, you're going to do the event dot current target dot class name, and I'm gonna do this the shorthand, and it's the same thing as what I'm about to tell you. Here's the shorthand of JavaScript with this thing is active. Okay, so this plus equal. Remember how we did the. Remember, I did the updating with the I. Looks like this. This is the post increment. So what this means is that this statement, this means this, equal plus active. Concatenate that with the active. Okay, so whatever it is with it, I should really, let me document this in here. So this is what this means. Okay, it's a shorthand way of programmers do we just like to shorthand stuff with it. It makes it a little easier with it. Alright, so this, let me zoom out on this. It's just words wrapping with it. So okay, so can y'all see that? So this line right here means this line right here. It's just event current. That's what you're going to be using with it as well. That is it. That is it with it. So we did everything right with it. Let me pause a second here. Freeze your screen right here. We're 10 minutes and a half into this. I want to zoom in and make sure you have the script. What I have here. Pause your screen for a moment. Let me pause mine, and this is what the JavaScript part's looking for. So at the beginning I was telling you about there's two parts to the script right here. All right, let me just break down the two parts. The first part right here is the first part. It's between here that we actually run the script every time when we hover over it and we click on it. What does it do? So let me just document as we talk in here with it and explain to you what actually takes place in here. So this is the first part, or I'm gonna call this part 1, okay? And make sure you close out of it, and it looks like that, okay? And the part 2, I want to say part 1 begin. When you click on it, I want to say here part 1 end. Okay, so down here, this part right here, this is the part 2 begin. And this is the part 2 where it ends. Which goes back to your... Alright, so you have this last part right here that actually, when you look at this, let me save this, Control S saves it, and then I'm going to look at it in the live server with it. Right mouse click on this, live server. And here's what it looks like. I'm going to hover over to the London, click on it. It should load the content of my tab content and my tab in here. And my Paris, here's my Paris content. And here's my Tokyo content with it as well, right? So when I'm done with all of this, I can always, again, it actually clears it and goes with it as well. So this is a tab way with it. Now, and close this out. The way how you want to do your page, that's a little different from this page with it. You're welcome to use this tab content, but your page is going to be a little, it's the same thing. You're going to modify it. You're welcome to run this as your tab content with it. That's okay. You can actually use a lot of your tab content in here as well. All right, this is the end of your part 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is in a part 5, and in a part 5. So this is the end of it. Thank you. Hey, just some correction I want to clarify here before I just realized I left and I had to go back to part 1 video and make this a correction for us. For task B, I would like for you to call this exercise, call it tab menu, uppercase T, uppercase M like I have right here. Call it tab menu for me, please. And put everything inside of that. That's the first thing. I went back and I did a call out on that video part with it as well. The other piece is that what I like to do is I want to show my code for the function, for the whole function for you. So let me zoom out with it so you can see this whole code right here for me. Okay. So pause the video if you need to at this time. And I want to leave this with this function right here. So if you're doing this code and it's not working, take a good look at this. This is how your function should be. Is between the script code to the script code right here with it, and this is right at the bottom. So let me recap on this right here with it. So there's three parts of this code. The first part is your HTML. Your HTML falls between your body tag. Here's your beginning of your body tag, closing your body tag. And this is what we've done is we put in 3 buttons on the top with it. It goes from here to here with it. And some of these, if you need to pause, this is the first part. I'm just going to let you pause the video, read it word for word. Some of these classes and the tab linked and the tab content, some of these are at the bottom here, all right, in the JavaScript. The second part we went up is we put in the CSS, the internal CSS, and that's a style tag between your head tag with it. Here's my head tag, and I gave it an element definition of the body, the class tab button, and the class tab button .active with it as well. And then there's the tab content. Pause the video if you need to look at this one more time with it. And scroll up. This is what it looks like at the top. You need to pause now. This is the CSS. Here's the rest of the CSS with it. So let me just zoom out so you get the rest of this. Here's the whole thing about the CSS with it. All right. The second part we went in is that the third part. I'm sorry. We went in and we wrote the JavaScript on it. It's this part from line 64 all the way down to line 83. And I broke it down to 2 parts with it as well. So here's the first part and here's the second part. And the second part displays the whole block and actually reverts back to the default section with it as well. Again, a lot of these are a little bit more complicated functions that I don't expect you to know right now, but take my word for it. So once you have this, and if I ran this this file right here, I need to actually rename it to call it what's the file name I should call it? Tab menu, right? All right. So that's the tab menu with it. That's what I need to have you call that. So the tab menu with it. That is a correction that I should have done at the start from video 1, part 1 to it as well. So make sure you have these corrections for it. I apologize for some of this because I was getting ahead of myself and then I was talking about the logo with this. So this is what your tab is supposed to look like. Is this? When I click on it, it shows me the content of the body. Each one of these sections, pairs, header, and this is the paragraph tag. This is the content of that with it. So that's what it looks like with it. And then when you do a refresh, it just hides everything with it as well. And that's what the second function of the JavaScript allows you to do with it. So this little function here is when you first come in, it actually hides everything with it as well. So you know, that's what's supposed to happen. All right. Sorry for the syntax, but all right. Thanks.